What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, invading California for NAMM 2019, and we are here with I Am Morbid's Ira Black. Thank you for your time, man.
How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man.
It's great to see you too, man.
Yeah, always great to run into you.
Yeah, I'm so pissed that I'm leaving the day you guys play at the Whiskey A Go-Go tonight. But,
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. Hopefully we'll get around to New York at some point. We're trying to do other stuff. We did a few shows in Texas at the end of last year and stuff. So we're trying to get out there in America too. So.
Yeah, I hope you guys do it very soon. But what I was always curious about with I Am Morbid is, obviously it's kind of like a spinoff of Dave Vincent's Morbid Angel. So but being that you played with so many bands and Tim and Bill, does that allow to bring some different elements to Dave's style?
Yeah, I mean, we're not, we're exclusively at this point playing music from the first 4 records of Morbid Angel's repertoire. And, originally we got together, we were talking about, actually before we even decided what material we were going to do, we were talking about doing a project, and Dave said, well, we might play some of my old songs. And so we're talking about maybe actually doing some original music first. So now it's kind of turned around the other way. So we started off by, we got offered a tour in South America and Russia and Europe. So we were like, well, we better put this together quick. So, instead of having to write a bunch of songs real quick to go out in 2 months, we're like, well, let's just, do a whole set of the Morbid Angel stuff. And, we haven't really talked about, because we're named after a Morbid Angel song, I Am Morbid, which is, Morbid Angel song. We haven't really talked about doing any other material from any of the bands that we played in or anything like that. So.
Okay. But it's got to bring something new to the table. I mean, you played with bands that are nothing like Morbid Angel, and same thing with Tim, and same thing with Bill. So, it's fair to say it's not just, when you play these Morbid Angel songs, are you just trying to play those songs, or do you kind of bring a little something new to the table?
Oh, yeah. We definitely switch it up. There's a couple of things I would mention. I would say that if you watch videos of them playing live from back in the day, they have a certain sound, a certain way that they do it, and we're definitely not that. And we definitely bring our own elements. We change the solos up a little bit. Some of the important ones that are the catchy ones, we emulate those, to the best of our ability. But I change up the solos a lot, that's for sure, and kind of do my own thing, But the one thing Dave said one day when we were rehearsing, he goes, what's cool? He goes, we actually are kind of like a more of a rock version of Morbid Angel in a way. It's like they had like that traditional death metal sound. They're one of the innovators of death metal.
Tampa, Florida at its finest.
Totally. And I think because, we learned the material on our own, Bill and I, a good portion of it. But then when we got together with Dave finally, we sat down and woodshedded. He really wanted to make sure that we were tight and we had everything down the right way. We're all playing the same thing, obviously, because this music's so intricate, it's not very easy to pick it up by ear on your own. So we get the closest we could. But what would happen was we'd work on the grooves. This band's actually rehearsed a lot. We always rehearse before shows, make sure we're on point and stuff. It takes it because, this kind of music, there's so much to it. But because we got the details from Dave specifically, imagine that we're all in sync with Dave. I always kind of imagine, you think, say him and Trey, when they were in the band together, Trey already had his parts. Dave probably never sat down and said, hey man, can you tighten up a little bit on this part and that part? Because it's like, they already record the records, he knows what he's doing, that's his thing. But because it's new to us, Dave was like, sits down and makes sure we got all the parts super tight, So because we got the details of the parts from Dave on set, this hyper level of attention, awareness, to the parts, that were a lot tighter, I think, than Morbid Angel was in a way. And that's not a diss on them.
Yeah.
They have their sound, it is a certain way. But I mean, when we do stops and stuff, I mean, it's tight because we play exactly with Dave. We know exactly where it's all at, So that's what I think he was talking about. It's like, we're more like a rock band, we're.
Yeah, the rock Morbid Angel. I like that. That's a really good description. Now, as a lot of people know, you play with
and we're better looking. So sorry, Trey. We jokingly say we're the death metal boy bands. You got Bill and me and Tim. Long haired.
Oh my God.
Sort of in shape guys. I mean, those guys are definitely in shape.
The death metal NSYNC.
Just say boy band, don't name the band.
Now, as a lot of people know, you played with a lot of other projects as well, such as Lizzie Borden, Westfield Massacre, Vicious Rumors.
Yeah. Dokken recently.
Dokken
Metal
as well.
Church.
Yep. So many.
Yeah.
I mean, Is it like a different mind frame depending on what project you're playing with, or in the end you're just playing your instrument there, so it's like a blanket methodology?
No, it's a different mindset in a lot of ways. I mean, when it comes right before I'm getting ready to hit the stage, that's always the same mindset. I go out to kill. I'm like, I got my game face on and I got my shit together, and I hit it like that. But preparing for it and leading up to it, like the Dawkins thing, to fill someone like George Lynch's shoes. And of course, John Levin's in the band now too, so I want to mention him because I'm technically filling his shoes, but he's filling George Lynch's shoes as well, to a certain degree. So, there's a lot that comes with that. It's a legendary guitar player, phenomenal, who I've always looked up to. So I'm like, wow, I have to actually be that guy, or at least something close to it, to pull this off. And like with the solos and stuff, see, that'd be a big difference between I Am Morbid and Dawkins. I really learned all the Dawkins solos note for note because I'm like, that's what I want to hear if I go see Dawkins.
Yeah.
I think with death metal, it's a little bit different because a lot of stuff is so fast. A lot of people don't know the difference between if you're doing a shred part.
Yeah.
It could be this or that, and they're like, as long as you nail some of the right notes at the right time that they're familiar with hearing with the melodies and stuff. But so that is a different mindset with I Am Morbid. It's like, okay, this is a death metal band. I'm preparing for it. These rhythms and these songs have to be just spot on, because and especially learning, how death metal fans are. They definitely, probably some of the most judgmental, but I can appreciate it because, the music is so intricate and it's got this certain thing, so it's like if you don't come there with the vibe all the way across, they'll call you out on it.
Death
like,
metal is a way
you
of
didn't
life.
quite do this and that. You're like, okay, whatever, man. So next show I'm like, I better step up a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's the difference. I think with Dawkins, I really had to focus on being the guitar hero.
Yeah.
With I Am Morbid, I focused on being a great band member and playing this stuff tight and really delivering the death metal a certain way, like that it's really, that people are going to enjoy and,
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'd imagine playing with these different styles can help hone your skill at the guitar in general, right?
Oh, yeah.
Open your mind to new ideas.
I've never played in a death metal band, so this is the first time I'm doing it. And at first I thought, well, it can't be much different than thrash metal. I played in the band Heathen.
Yeah.
And there's certain similarities about it. A lot of the songs have a lot of parts, a lot of fast rhythm stuff, with the right hand. But what I noticed about death metal, a lot of stuff is on the neck. Thrash metal, you play open string.
Yeah.
A lot of open string stuff, galloping and stuff, and then chords go over the top of it. Whereas a lot of this Morbid Angel stuff, anyways, it's like a lot of the rhythms, your hands on the neck a lot. You're not even hitting open note, you're just on the neck the whole time doing this crazy.
It's like a memory game from hell.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's like, I always say it's like the songs are, the parts in the songs had a scale made up just for that song. It's like you have to memorize this new scale that has no coherency to regular scale, formats. So you kind of have to memorize these long, intricate lines and stuff.
Yeah. That actually, you led me right into my next question, because when you're doing guitar solos, is it you have to hear background music and be like, I got to do this scale and this mode and this key, or is there like improvising involved? Like,
I improvise about 75% of my solos in I Am Morbid live every night, and that makes it exciting for me. I get to do whatever I want, sort of, but there's certain things that, are very memorable parts, so I attach to those, but I do a lot of improvising for the solos for sure and stuff. But and I try to backtrack on that last question. I don't think I answered all the way. I thought it was interesting because when I played with I Am Morbid and learned all this material, it's actually because the music is very difficult and intricate, and it kind of changed my perspective. Now it makes learning other music a lot easier. So that's one interesting thing. Like, even I got the Dawkins gig after I Am Morbid, so I was working on the Dawkins stuff. It was like the songs were so easy. I mean, compared to that, so it kind of put my mindset like that. And we do the jam night every week, and I always pick up a lot of times the song I'm playing on the day of the show, and then I go play it. And people are like, Jessica's like, you better work on that song. I'm like, it's easy now.
Yeah.
It makes everything easier, in the perspective, so.
Yeah. And the final question I'd like to ask you is, let's do a gear rundown. What are your weapons of choice?
Oh my God. Well, the gear that I have, man, I got a lot of gear. What am I using? Well, because I play in all these different bands, that's actually a large question, because when you're playing a lot of different styles, you can't really use the same equipment. And then when you're traveling a lot, you can't use the same equipment. If I'm doing a tour, in the States and we leave from our home city with a trailer, well, then I can bring some of my favorite stuff, and some of my endorsement stuff, my sponsorship stuff, because, we're traveling straight from the house and I can do that. But when we're doing fly out dates, I've been using my Kemper a lot.
Yeah, Kemper has been what I've heard, like the perfect travel amp.
Yeah, so I've been using that with I Am Morbid, and that's been working out great because you can bring it to any country, and the power automatically switches as long as you have the right plug. You don't have to switch any switches, and then you have your sound exactly the way it was when you rehearsed. Like, there's my sound. It's, everything you need. But when I was playing with Dawkins, basically I had to learn the set, 17, 18 songs, fly to Texas, no rehearsal, and just show up and play. And I didn't get a lot of information. I should have maybe did a little more research, but I only had about a week and a half to learn the set. So I show it with my Kemper thinking, well, this thing's worked for me on all this other stuff. And I used it the first night, and Don was a little bit like, I don't know if I like the sound so much, can you just use the Marshall at the next show? And I've always not really been into Marshall, honestly. That's not been my thing. Now, this has definitely changed my mind because I was forced to use it. So the very next show, 2 days later, was a festival with like Cheap Trick and Joan Jett and Sebastian Bach, a bunch of bands in Florida. And I had to play this big outdoor festival with the Marshall, which I generally don't like so much. But that's what Don wanted me to use, so I manned up and said, okay, this is what it is. And it actually sounded great, and it went fine. So I was like, okay, let me reopen my mind about Marshall, and because I have to, So I don't mind using Marshall so much anymore. So I use Marshall every time I play with Dawkins, Now, I'm endorsed by Mezza Barba. That's one word, Mezza Barba Amps. It's a boutique company out of Italy.
Okay.
And it's similar to a Marshall, it's somewhere between a cross between a Marshall and a Mezza Boogie type amp or something, It's not a super duper metal amp, It's more of a, I think it works best for, hard rock, classic rock, stuff like that. Unless you run some distortion on a friend or something, But it's a really nice amp. The solo tone is just amazing. I'll be using that tomorrow night at the Ultimate NAMM night.
Oh, awesome.
And I used a TC Electronics G System pedal with that.
Awesome.
And TC Electronics has great, clean effects, so I run that through the effects loop on the Mezza Barba. I was working with Black Star amps for a little while, and that stuff's cool because they have a good metal tone. I just went through the HT Metalhead, so I have 2 half stacks, 2 heads, and 2 cabinets, so I was running that in stereo.
Wow.
And that sounds really good. I was doing that with Death Division. And then before I was with Peavey, so I used a 5150 and a 6505s. I have 4 of those heads. I have 2 5150s and 2 6505s. I have the Eddie Van Halen, the EVH. I have one of those heads. That's a great head, too. So, I've been playing guitar, 38 years almost, so I'm definitely a bit of a gearhead, and
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I have about 10 cabinets of various cabinets at home and stuff, and
that's awesome.
30-something guitars, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's my gear.
your arsenal.
Yeah.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time. Is there just anything with coming up that you would like to promote? I know I Am Morbid is playing at the Whiskey A Go Go.
Yeah, we're doing the Ultimate NAMM night, which is our ultimate jam thing that we do at the Whiskey every Tuesday. It's a celebrity jam. We get together every week, and there's about 50 to 60 guys that come out and play every week. We have 93 artists coming out. Steve Vai, Billy Sheehan. We have the Eat 'em and Smile lineup coming out to play with us tomorrow night. And I'm playing with Roy Mayorga from Stone Sour, and Tom Hunting and Jack Gibson from Exodus tomorrow, and Steve Smythe and Bill Hudson. I'm playing with them, and Joe Retta, and the list goes on. Simon Wright. These are all the guys I'm personally playing with tomorrow, so it's going to be great. That's Saturday, January 26th. And then on the 28th in 2 days, I'm headlining the Whiskey with I Am Morbid. So that'll be cool. And then let's see, I'm doing a Grammy party on February 10th.
Wow.
And I'm also going on tour with I Am Morbid in April and May. I think we have 20-plus dates. There's 6 bands on the bill, and we're the headliner.
Bring that shit to New York, please.
Yeah, we're always trying to entertain, doing shows. Like I said, we did 3 shows in Texas recently, so we're trying to get our feet wet. We did 2 shows up in the Pacific Northwest, up in Seattle and Portland last year as well. So we're trying to get out there and do it. We're only doing shows that make sense.
Yeah.
So we're not going to book like a 2, 3, 4 week tour, unless something totally like we get an offer that we can't refuse, as they say. Being from the East Coast yourself. But we're trying to make our way as to many places as we can. So that's definitely the goal. So
awesome. Well, Ira, great to finally sit and chat with you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
everybody. Ira Black of I Am Morbid. This is Alex from Heavy New York, invading California for NAMM 2019. We'll see you next time.